The wage gap does not exist. It's a lie. Women are not making 77 cents to a man's dollar. I know it's the biggest talking point for the feminist movement. If you go to any feminist marches, you see women holding signs and shouting in anger about how unjust it is that they're making 77 cents while the man's making $1 in the economy and the labor force. But those numbers were found not to be true because the studies that came out with those numbers were found to be flawed. They're found to be flawed for two main reasons. The first reason they're found to be flawed was that they didn't look at singular jobs. What do I mean by that? They didn't go into the economy, the labor force, and look at one part of the field. Like accounting, for example, I look at two of the same positions where a man was working and a woman was working. I look at their salaries and see was there a difference between what the man and the woman was making. Rather, what these studies did was they looked at every part of the labor force and looked at how much the ladies were making and took an average. I looked at what the men were making and took an average and went, see, there's a big difference. The men are making more money than women. And the second reason they were found to be flawed was that they didn't actually take into account what jobs men were working versus the jobs that the women were working. They didn't take into account that men are working high-paying jobs like doctor, like CEOs of financial companies, like engineering, where the women are working low-paying jobs like teachers, like nurses. Those two main reasons why those studies were found to be flawed. And that's why I don't believe the wage gap exists. Because if you look across all the industries that we have in the labor force, in the economy, and look at the salaries that the men and women are making that are working the same position, you come to find out that they're making the same amount of money. But now let's get back to the feminist movement. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. The feminist movement need to start bringing up the wage gap at every single march that they do, because they get debunked and memed out of by the other side, who use fact and logic and are against the feminist movement. Rather, what the feminist movement should be fighting for, in my opinion, is giving women more opportunity in the economy and changing society's outlook and view of sexes and jobs. What do I mean by that? Throughout history, women have always worked jobs that are nurturing, like teaching and nursing. Unfortunately, those professions are not high-paying jobs, whereas men have always worked jobs that are leading, like doctors, CEOs of financial companies, engineering jobs. So that's what we need to change as a society, is our outlook. Because we believe and have believed throughout history that women have a good hold of their emotions. That's why they do nurturing jobs, where they can use their emotions to help others, to teach others, and whereas men have no emotions, they don't use their emotions, and that's why they're good leaders, because they can be rational when it comes to decision making. So that's what we need to change. We need to change our outlook. We need to understand that men have emotions as well. Men can use their emotions and be good teachers. So men should be allowed to do jobs that are nurturing, like teaching, and women can be good leaders. Yeah, women can be good leaders. They can be presidents. They can be financial company CEOs. They can be doctors. That's what we need to change. Because right now we have an outlook where we go, women are hyper emotion. They get very high and they get very low. And that's why they can't be good leaders, because every decision that they make it on emotions, and they make bad decisions. That's why they shouldn't be in jobs that are leading. Like, it's the outlook that we have as a society. And that's what we need to change. And we are making changes. You're seeing more women doctors, you're seeing more women become CEOs, but those are unique people. You don't see them on every single occasion. So you don't go to this networking events and you don't see women everywhere that are CEOs. You see some women, but all you see are men. So that's what we need to change, is society's outlook and view when it comes to sex and jobs. Yes, women can be good leaders. Yes, women can be CEOs, women can be doctors. We need to give them more opportunities to become that. Because right now, a lot of women do not get hired for those jobs. And women that do get hired, they don't make it in the higher positions. Rather, they stay in the beginning positions for the rest of their career. So what we need to do is give them more opportunity to become doctors, to become engineers, and change the way that we talk. We're always like, The man's going to be the doctor. The boy, I have a boy and he's going to be a doctor. He's going to be an engineer. He's going to be a CEO. Where I have a daughter and she's going to be a teacher. She's going to be a nurse. No. We should be like, the woman is going to be the doctor. I have a girl, she's going to be a doctor. She's going to be a CEO. She's going to be the president of this country. So that's what we need to change as a society, is that we can't always be like, women have high emotions, they can't be good leaders, so they shouldn't be working jobs like doctor, CEOs of financial companies. Rather, we should go, you know what? Some women will be doctors, some women will be CEOs, and some women will be teachers. And they will be damn good at their job. That's what we need to change as a society, is our outlook that we have when it comes to sexes and jobs. And that's what I think the feminist movement should be fighting for. And I think everyone can get behind that. That's where I stand at the wage gap situation, because I don't believe it exists. And that's what I think we should be fighting for, is more opportunity for women in the economy and changing our society's outlook and views when it comes to sex and jobs.